The throne room of the Celestial Empire stretched 300 meters from entrance to dais, its crystalline walls refracting the light of twin suns into cascading rainbows. Queen Velandra sat upon her fusion core throne, her forearms folded in contemplation as she regarded the human standing before her assembly of warriors. His name was Marcus, and he looked utterly unremarkable. "This is your champion?" Lord Commander Thrace asked, his vocal sac vibrating with barely concealed mockery. The reptilian warrior gestured dismissively with his clawed hand. "Your Majesty, the humans are known for their fragility. This one appears average, even by their meager standards." Marcus stood silent in his simple gray uniform, hands clasped behind his back. He was neither tall nor short, neither muscular nor slight. Brown hair, brown eyes, pale skin, marked with the faint lines of someone approaching middle age. He could have disappeared into any crowd on any human colony world. "The Tournament of Champions begins in 3 cycles, Velandra said, her melodious voice carrying easily through the vast chamber. "I have reviewed the dossier the human government provided. Marcus served in their military, Special Operations Division for 20 years. His record is exemplary." "Exemplary for a human," Thrace countered. "Your Majesty, forgive my bluntness, but the tournament attracts warriors from 600 species. The Krather send their berserkers, creatures that can tear through durasteel with their bare hands. The silicates send their stone shapers, beings that manipulate gravity itself. What can this human possibly offer?" Velandra's luminescent eyes studied Marcus with curiosity. She had ruled the Celestial Empire for 3 centuries, expanding its borders through a combination of diplomatic prowess and military might. The Tournament of Champions was the galaxy's most prestigious martial competition, and her empire had never claimed victory. Perhaps that was about to change. "Tell me, Marcus," she said, leaning forward, "what makes you qualified to represent my empire?" The human met her gaze without flinching. "I'm still alive, Your Majesty." Several of the assembled courtiers laughed. Thrace's sac vibrated again with amusement. "Elaborate," Velandra commanded. "I served in conflicts across 17 worlds over 2 decades, Marcus said, his voice calm and measured. "I fought enemies with better technology, superior numbers, and every conceivable advantage. Some could see in spectrums I couldn't perceive. Others had natural armor that shrugged off conventional weapons. A few didn't even need to breathe oxygen. But I learned, adapted, and survived every encounter." "Survival is not victory," Thrace said. "No," Marcus agreed. "But you can't achieve victory if you're dead." Velandra found herself intrigued despite her reservations. "The first round begins in 3 cycles. You will face Kaner the Unbreakable, a Krather berserker who has claimed 43 victories in arena combat. What is your strategy?" "I'll need to observe him first," Marcus said. "Every opponent has patterns, weaknesses. I'll find his." The human's confidence bordered on arrogance, yet he delivered his words without bravado. Velandra dismissed the assembly, instructing her staff to provide Marcus with quarters and access to the training facilities. As the throne room emptied, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was missing something important about her human champion. The first round of the tournament arrived with tremendous fanfare. 50,000 spectators filled the grand arena, representing hundreds of species from across the galaxy. Energy shields separated the crowd from the combat floor, a 200-meter circle of reinforced stone that had witnessed countless battles. Marcus entered from the eastern gate, wearing light armor, a simple blade at his hip. Across the arena, Kaner emerged to thunderous applause. The Krather stood 3 meters tall, his crimson exoskeleton gleaming under the arena lights. 4 arms ending in serrated claws flexed in anticipation. His kind were born warriors, their bodies naturally evolved for combat. "Begin!" The Arbiter's voice echoed. Kaner charged immediately, closing the distance with surprising speed for his size. His roar shook the arena as he brought all four arms down in a devastating strike that would have pulverized most opponents. Marcus wasn't there. The human had moved with such economy of motion that many spectators missed it entirely. He was simply 3 meters to the left, his blade already drawn. As Kaner turned, confused, Marcus struck. The blade found the gap between two plates of exoskeleton, sliding deep into the joint. Kaner howled and backhanded Marcus across the arena. The human tumbled, rolled, and came up running. He didn't try to match the Krather's strength. Instead, he circled, waited, and struck again when Connor overextended. Another joint compromised. The pattern repeated. Kaner grew increasingly frustrated, his attacks becoming wilder. Marcus remained patient, methodical. He gave ground when necessary, never standing his ground against superior force. Each exchange left Kaner slightly slower, slightly more hindered. 12 minutes into the match, Kaner collapsed. His joints were compromised, his movements reduced to clumsy swings. Marcus approached carefully, blade ready, and Kaner conceded defeat. The arena fell silent for a moment before erupting in confused applause. They had expected a spectacle of strength. Instead, they had witnessed something more unsettling. Precision. Adequate, Valandra said from her observation box, though she felt a flutter of excitement in her triple hearts. Marcus won his second match in under 5 minutes. His opponent was a silicate warrior who could manipulate localized gravity fields. The human spent the first 3 minutes testing the range and power of his opponent's abilities, taking several painful throws in the process. Then he produced a handful of small metal spheres and scattered them across the arena floor. When the silicate tried to use his gravity manipulation, the metal spheres responded erratically to the fields, disrupting the warrior's concentration. Marcus closed the distance during the confusion and delivered a strike that shattered the silicate's crystalline core structure. He's analyzing them, Valandra realized, speaking to Thrace. He's treating each match as an intelligence-gathering exercise. He is clever, Thrace admitted grudgingly. But the semifinals will be different. He faces Drath, the Void Walker. Valandra felt her confidence waver. Drath was legendary, a being from a species that existed partially out of phase with normal spacetime. He could become intangible at will, passing through matter and energy alike. No one had ever landed a successful strike against him. His victories came from materializing his claws inside opponents' bodies, shredding organs from within. The semifinal match drew the largest crowd yet. Drath entered the arena as a shifting shadow, his form never quite solid. Marcus studied him from across the combat floor, and Valandra noticed the human's posture had changed. For the first time, he looked tense. Begin. Drath phased immediately, becoming a blur of shadow that rushed across the arena. Marcus dodged, barely avoiding the spot where Drath briefly materialized. He rolled, came up, and threw one of his metal spheres. It passed harmlessly through Drath's intangible form. The Void Walker laughed, a sound like wind through broken glass. He attacked again, and this time his claws caught Marcus's armor, tearing 3 deep gouges across the human's chest plate. Blood welled from cuts beneath. Marcus retreated, breathing hard. He reached into his equipment pack and pulled out a device Valandra didn't recognize. He activated it and dropped it on the arena floor. Drath phased through the device, uninterested. Then he screamed. The Void Walker flickered between solid and intangible rapidly, his form destabilizing. The device was emitting some kind of radiation that interfered with his ability to phase properly. Marcus didn't waste time. He moved in with his blade, and for the first time in Drath's career, someone struck him while he was solid. The Void Walker fell, unable to maintain his defensive phasing. Marcus stood over him, blade at his throat, waiting for the concession. The arena exploded with sound. Velandra found herself standing, all four arms gripping the railing of her observation. Box. Impossible. Marcus had just defeated the favorite to win the entire tournament. What was that device? Thrace demanded. I don't know, Velandra admitted, but I intend to find out. The finals took place under double suns, the arena packed beyond capacity. Marcus faced Krell, a quantum warrior whose species could exist in multiple states simultaneously. Fighting Krell meant fighting three versions of him at once, each one solid and dangerous. Velandra met with Marcus before the match in his preparation chamber. You've exceeded all expectations, she said, but Krell is unlike anything you've faced. How do you plan to defeat an opponent who exists in quantum superposition? Marcus was applying medical gel to the wounds on his chest. I've been thinking about that. Quantum superposition collapses when observed or measured, right? The versions of Krell exist because he's partially unobserved. Theoretically correct, Velandra said, intrigued. But how do you force observation on a quantum state that actively resists it? The human smiled for the first time since she'd met him. It was not a pleasant expression. I'm going to cheat. The final match began with Krell demonstrating his fearsome ability. Three identical versions of the warrior circled Marcus, attacking in perfect coordination. The human defended desperately, barely avoiding strikes that came from multiple angles simultaneously. Then Marcus,